Hi, everyone. Grandma D here. We are here for another story time video. I am super excited because we are continuing today with Six by Seuss with my favorite one, How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Oh, I've been waiting. It's been a long wait, but we made it. So this week will be the final two in our series with this book. We will read How the Grinch Stole Christmas and The Lorax. And I hope that you enjoy these as much as I enjoy reading them to you. Dr. Seuss is wonderful with his way with words and the way he rhymes. And the stories really are funny and exciting. Sometimes they have a twist ending. And it's just wonderful, and I hope you will love it. So, before we get started, I just want to mention that I hope that you will have your adult subscribe to my channel, like this video, and ring the notification bell so that you do not miss the Lorax and all the other wonderful books I have coming up. So, without further ado, we're going to get started. And today we'll read How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Every Who down in Whoville liked Christmas a lot. But the Grinch, who lived just north of Whoville, did not. Look at that. Look at him. The Grinch hated Christmas. The whole Christmas season. Now, please don't ask why. No one quite knows the reason. It could be his head wasn't screwed on just right. It could be perhaps his shoes were too tight. But I think that the most likely reason of all may have been his heart was 2 sizes too small. But whatever the reason, his heart or his shoes, he stood there on Christmas Eve, hating the Who's, staring down from his cave with a sour, grinchy frown at the lighted, warm windows below in their town. For he knew every Who down in Whoville beneath was busy now hanging a mistletoe wreath. And they're hanging their stockings, he snarled with a sneer. Tomorrow is Christmas. It's practically here. Then he growled with his grinchy fingers nervously drumming. I must find some way to stop Christmas from coming. For tomorrow, he knew. There's Whoville. There's the Grinch in his cave. All the Who girls and boys would wake up bright and early. They'd rush for their toys. And then, oh, the noise, oh, the noise, 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 noise. That's one thing he hated. The noise, 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 noise. Lots of toys there, big drums and arrows and trains and all kinds of gifts. Then the Who's, young and old, would sit down to a feast. And they'd feast, and they'd feast. And they'd feast, feast, feast. They would feast on who pudding and rare who roast beast, which was something the Grinch couldn't stand in the least. Look at that long table and all the people carrying the food in on huge trays. Oh my goodness. That's a lot of food. And then they'd do something he liked all the least. Every who down in Whoville, the tall and the small, would stand close together with Christmas bells ringing. They'd stand hand in hand, and the who's would start singing. They'd sing and they'd sing and they'd sing, 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 sing. And the more the Grinch thought of this Who Christmas sing, the more the Grinch thought, I must stop this whole thing. Why, for 53 years I've put up with it now. I must stop this Christmas from coming. But how? Look at that. Do you sing Christmas songs? These pages are sticking together. There we go. Then he got an idea. Uh-oh. An awful idea. The Grinch got a wonderful, awful idea. What do you think's going to happen? Have you heard this story before? I know just what to do. The Grinch laughed in his throat. And he made a quick Santa Claus hat and a coat. And he chuckled and chuckled. What a great Grinchy trick. With this coat and this hat, I look just like Saint Nick. All I need is a reindeer. The Grinch looked around. But since reindeer are scarce, there was none to be found. That did not stop the old Grinch. No, the Grinch simply said. If I can't find a reindeer, I'll make one instead. So he called his dog Max. Then he took some red thread and he tied a big horn on the top of his head. Look at that. Poor Max. Oh my goodness. Then he loaded some bags and some old empty sacks on a ramshackle sleigh and he hitched up old Max. Then the Grinch said, "Giddy up!" And the sleigh started down toward the homes where the Who's lay a snooze in their town. Look at that. He's going down the hill. Max pulling the sleigh. That poor little dog. That poor little dog. All their windows were dark. Quiet snow filled the air. All the Who's were dreaming sweet dreams without care. This is stop number 1, the old Grinchy Claus hissed. And he climbed on the roof, empty bags in his fist. See him up there on top of the roof of the first house? Max is down there waiting, hitched to the sleigh. Wonder what he's got planned. Then he slid down the chimney, a rather tight pinch. But if Santa could do it, so could the Grinch. He got stuck only once for a moment or two, where the little Who stockings all hung in a row. He stuck his head out of the fireplace flue. These stockings, he grinned, are the first things to go. He's going to take all their stockings. I wonder what else he's going to take. Uh-oh. Then he slithered and slunk with a smile most unpleasant. Around the whole room, he took every present. Pop guns and bicycles, roller skates, drums, checkerboards, tricycles, popcorn and plums. And he stuffed them in bags. Then the Grinch very nimbly stuffed all the bags one by one up the chimbley. Chimbley. See all the little kids in bed back there? Sound asleep. They don't hear him taking all their toys. Then he slunk to the icebox. He took the Who's feast. He took the Who pudding. He took the roast beast. He cleaned out that icebox as quick as a flash. Why, that Grinch even took their last can of Who hash. How about that? He's taken their feast out of the refrigerator. See, he's got the roast beast. Uh-oh. Then he stuffed all the food up the chimney with glee. And now, grinned the Grinch, I will stuff the tree. There goes the tree. That's next. And the Grinch grabbed the old tree and he started to shove when he heard a small sound like the coo of a dove. He turned round fast and he saw a small Who. Little Cindy Lou who was no more than 2. The Grinch had been caught by this tiny Who daughter who'd got out of bed for a cup of cold water. She stared at the Grinch and said, Santa Claus, why? Why are you taking our Christmas tree? Why? Aw, poor Cindy Lou. What's he gonna do now? He's been caught. But you know that old Grinch was so smart and so slick. He thought up a lie and he thought up it quick. Why, my sweet little tot, the fake Santa Claus lied. There's a light on this tree that won't light on one side. So I'm taking it home to my workshop, my dear. I'll fix it up there, then I'll bring it back here. And his fib fooled the child. Then he patted her head, and he got her a drink and sent her to bed. And Cindy Lou Who went to bed with her cup. He went to the chimney and stuffed the tree up. Oh boy, he lied to her, didn't he? Then the last thing he took was the log for the fire. Then he went to the chimney himself, the old liar. On their walls he left nothing but hooks and some wire. And the one speck of food that he left in the house was a crumb that was even too small for a mouse. Look at there. There's a little mouse down there with a crumb. Oh my goodness. Then he did the same thing to the other Who's houses, leaving crumbs much too small for the other Who's mouses. It was 1/4 past dawn. All the Who's still abed, All the Who's still a snooze. When he packed up his sled, packed it up with their presents, the ribbons, the wrappings, the tags, and the tinsel, the trimmings, the trappings. Look at how full that sled is. Poor Max. How's he ever going to get to the top of the mountain? Oh my goodness. 3,000 feet up the side of Mount Crumpet, he rode with his load to the tip top to dump it. Pooh pooh, said the Who's. Pooh pooh to the Who's. He was Grinchishly humming. They're finding out now that no Christmas is coming. They're just waking up, and I know what they'll do. Their mouths will hang open a minute or two. Then the Who's down in Whoville will all cry. Boo hoo. What do you think? That's a noise, said the Grinch, I simply must hear. So he paused, and the Grinch put a hand to his ear, and he did hear a sound rising over the snow. It started in low. Then it started to grow. Huh. I wonder what's happening. But the sound wasn't sad. Why, this sounded merry. It couldn't be so. But it was very merry. He stared down at Whoville. The Grinch popped his eyes. Then he shook. What he saw was a shocking surprise. Every Who down in Whoville, the tall and the small, was singing without any presents at all. He hadn't stopped Christmas from coming. It came. Somehow or other, it came just the same. And the Grinch, with his Grinch feet ice cold in the snow, stood puzzling and puzzling. How could it be so? It came without ribbons. It came without tags. It came without packages, boxes, or bags. And he puzzled 3 hours till his puzzler was sore. Then the Grinch thought of something he hadn't thought of before. Maybe Christmas, he thought, doesn't come from a store. Maybe Christmas, perhaps, is a little bit more. Oh my goodness. Huh. And what happened then? Well, in Whoville, they say that the Grinch's small heart grew 3 sizes that day. And the minute his heart didn't feel quite so tight, he whizzed with his load through the bright morning light, and he brought back the toys and the food for the feast. And he himself, the Grinch, carved the roast beast. The end. How about that? How about that? He learned that there's so much more to Christmas than toys and ribbons and paper and bows. and meals. There's so much more. I hope that you enjoyed The Grinch as much as I did. I love the ending. It always makes me smile and warms my heart. And I hope that you enjoyed The Grinch as well. It's a wonderful story. And next time we will be back and we will read The Lorax. You're in for a good time. This is a good story. So, this is Grandma D saying that no matter where you are in the world, whether you're getting ready for bed, sitting on the couch wrapped up in a blanket with your adult listening to the story, getting up in the morning for school, or getting ready to go outside and play with your friends, I hope that you have a wonderful day and a better day tomorrow. And know that Grandma D loves you very much. So I'm sending you warm hugs and butterfly kisses. Until next time, this is Grandma D saying bye-bye for now.